There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original, David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes. Starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine, the show that teaches you how to survive the stuff that can kill you.
Like hurricanes, landscaping equipment, and green death.
Ugh. And the stuff that just makes you wish you were dead.
Like two cosmos, hairy chests, and old person eyeballs.
What if all that was combined into one person?
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
Oh, I'll take that.
A drunk, hairy, cataract.
Eyeballs going in all directions.
Yeah, guy.
I feel like that guy has hit on me at the Improv.
I think I maybe just dated that guy. I don't know.
We might be talking about the same guy. We should talk off.
We will.
Off camera.
Sounds good.
Until then, let's play the theme song.
Doot.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. How to survive. How to survive.
Danielle.
Kristine.
So,
Yeah.
a little bird told me that isn't on your sweater today.
It's not sweater weather yet.
Oh, I can't wait.
In fact, I am a little warm because my app lied to me. I thought it was going to be cooler here in the valley.
You know what you can't trust? The weather app.
The weather app, yeah.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
Danielle,
Yeah.
I'm telling the audience.
Okay.
She had 2 drinks last night.
Yeah. And I'm dead.
She is dead.
I'm dead.
Right now, her whole body is just on the table.
Yeah. I have the mic just laying next to me.
Yeah.
My hands are at my side.
She's just drooling. Drool is just dripping down the table.
When I drink, sometimes I have trouble sleeping.
Did you have, you said you had 2 Cosmos.
I had 2 Cosmos, yeah.
Because you were Sex in the City and it
Yeah,
Wait, was that
exactly.
what they had, Cosmos?
Yeah.
I don't think I've had a Cosmo in 20 years.
Well, I had never had
like
one.
them.
I had never had one until I went to New York. And then last night I was out with a friend of the show, Alex Alexander, and she ordered a Cosmo.
She's a delight.
Yes. And she was like, she ordered a Cosmo. And I was like, oh, yeah, I really like that. In New York, I'll have one too. And it was delicious. And it wasn't too sweet. And it was great.
Cranberry juice?
Yeah.
Vodka.
And lime? Something like that?
Those are good. In a type of martini glass, right?
martini glass.
So it
with
makes
the
you feel
lime.
really fancy.
Makes you feel super fancy. And like you're just drinking punch or something.
What were you wearing?
Oh, I was not.
I don't mean that in a
dressed up.
creepy.
I was just wearing.
I just think you should be in I feel like you're in some kind of like Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress.
Oh, no. You know me with wrap dresses, right? I've told you this, that every few years I get.
You try one on?
Yeah.
And then you're
and
like,
then I go,
oh, no.
right, I don't have a torso. I can't possibly wear this.
But you could wear, you know what? A different DVF style.
I had a DVF.
Like the one I gave you.
Yes, you gave me one. It's beautiful. But the wrap dress, it would have to be tailored to me to have a short torso, and then maybe I could wear a wrap dress. So anyway, yeah. So sometimes I just have trouble sleeping when I drink because I guess because you're dehydrated or whatever.
I think it's the sugar.
But it wasn't that, like, as Alex pointed out, they weren't red. They were just kind of light pink. So it wasn't really that sweet. But yeah, maybe it was the sugar. I don't know.
I don't know either. I only say that because for me, it's usually wine. When I drink wine, where I'm like, my whole body feels like it's buzzing and my legs don't.
Yeah.
It's like suddenly I'm like, do I have restless leg syndrome? My legs are all like,
Right.
boop, boop, boop. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I took some sleeping, like over-the-counter sleeping pills.
Not from a guy you bought on the corner. From
No.
a guy?
I bought a guy in the corner, and he came and he took a cartoon mallet and slammed me over the head, and that did it.
That guy.
I saw stars around my head for a few minutes, but then I was
Some
able to
birds.
fall. Yeah, beep, tweet, 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 birds. around
So
my head.
some OTC sleeping medication,
Yeah.
but not melatonin.
I don't think so. It's
But
just
what
a
is this?
sleep aid. I don't know.
Sleep aid.
It's Jimmy's. I mean, you got to go through, you got to go through the alphabet to find them because there's so many goddamn pills in our. We have an entire, like,
Do you have a drug room?
we should have a drug room. We have an entire drawer that he will sometimes for fun take out and reorganize.
That does sound fun.
Doesn't it?
I like to organize.
The other day I was going to bed and he had his like little plastic pill case and he was putting all his pills in for the week.
Yes.
You know, it's like a little project.
Are there vitamins too, or just medications?
That was me shutting each individual
No,
day.
you did a good job.
I think both. Yeah, I think there's vitamins and medications, I guess. So has anything happened since Friday? Because we saw each other.
There was a
Friday.
hurricane and an
Oh,
earthquake.
yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it's been.
Did it affect you guys?
Garen felt it, right?
We had rain all day, and then I definitely felt the earthquake.
Yeah, we didn't feel it. And you didn't feel it either, Chris?
No. Guess what I just found out?
What?
I have the beginning of a cataract.
Wait, are you kidding?
I am not.
How?
I just got my eyes examined because I was like, it's time. It's been over a year. I need to go. I think I need, like stronger prescription. I only wear readers. They're like 1 and 1.5. You can buy them at the drugstore like I do on the internet. And I was like, I know I must need regular glasses by now. I feel like my eyes are just like fading.
Right.
And so he was like, oh, there's like a little yellowing. It looks like you're beginning to get a cataract. And I was like, what? And he said, it's the beginning and, you'll look at, that surgery down the road sometime. And I was like, oh, like
How far?
20 years? And he's like, no, more like 5. And I was like, you are fucking shitting me.
How do you even get one?
Aging.
Oh, I know, but I mean, how do you get one? If
I
you're
don't
not
know. I got in my car and I immediately Googled, like, what's the average age? Like, when do cataracts begin?
Right.
60.
Yeah, even that I would have thought was low.
My mom just had cataract surgeries,
Yeah.
but she's in her, I think she's going to turn 77.
Jesus Christ.
What's
I'm sorry.
happening?
I don't know. You're falling apart. We're all falling apart.
All falling. I think
Yeah.
it's the stress of living. I think it's the
Yeah.
whole apocalypse thing
Yeah.
that we're in.
Right.
The COVID thing. And my body is like, I'm going to go ahead and shut you down.
I'm just going to cloud your eyes so you can't see anything anymore.
Yeah.
And
And then
that's what it is, right?
he said, do you have like floaters sometimes? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, how long has that been happening? Because I do see there's a little bit of fluid. And I said, a year? You know when a doctor asks you how long a thing has been
And you
going
have
on?
no idea.
I mean, it literally could be, it started a day ago or a year.
Yeah.
I don't know. He goes, oh, well, if it's a year, then we probably don't need to worry about it. If it had just started, then I'd be concerned.
Wait, why? Why
I
is
guess, I don't know, because it can be like detachment of your retinas maybe.
Yeah, I have
And I
that.
was like, I hope I'm right that it was a year because I literally have no idea when it started.
I mean, when they ask me the first day of my last period, I literally make something up every fucking time.
I always make it up. It could be, it maybe just started in my pants right now.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm like, I don't know. Let me check. Give me a second. Let me put a finger down there.
Yes.
Yeah, last time when I had my breast exam, they asked me, and I go, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. And so she pulls out a calendar and she goes, so the 8th or whatever it was. I go, sure.
Was that 3 weeks ago then? Yes.
I go, is that? Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Sure.
Have you gotten this yet? Are you still getting your period?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, how dare you? How fucking dare you say it that way? You never say that.
They say like, are you still getting your period?
Are you still? Yeah. Don't say that. Don't say that to a woman, you fucking 27-year-old. How dare you?
How fucking dare you?
You go screw yourself. I don't have a good comeback for it.
You tried.
Work on it for next time.
You know what we're going to do? I'm going to think of something funny, and then Garen is going to edit it in.
Oh, that's smart.
Right?
Okay.
Extra work for you this week.
You do that.
Just take a break from streaming or twitching or
just staring off into the distance. Ruminating on how everything went wrong.
Well, the good thing is you can do both at the same time.
Exactly. And I often do.
I do too.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now. Like Kegels. You can do Kegels and think about how everything went wrong all at once. And nobody knows.
Oh, I'm doing it right now.
So are we ready to get into...
Listen.
What?
Keep going.
I was just asking if we're ready to get into our topic today.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
Because it really ties into everything we've been talking about.
Kegels?
Kegels, staring off into the distance.
Blood.
Starting your period at the gynecologist's office. Cataracts. Our weekend. I'm going to talk about hurricanes.
Yay.
We have not done hurricanes
How to
somehow.
survive. I don't know how that's possible.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you guys some fun facts.
Okay.
Do you guys like fun facts?
Love fun facts.
All right. Did you know hurricanes in the southern hemisphere spin in a clockwise direction, but hurricanes in the northern hemisphere turn counterclockwise?
I think I knew that. Like the toilet thing.
Like the dog.
The dog.
Do you know dogs when they lay, you know how they turn to lay down before they always lay down? Do you know dogs in the southern hemisphere spin in a clockwise direction, but in the northern hemisphere they turn counterclockwise?
That can't be true.
I think it's true. Garen, please verify this.
Insane.
But that makes me feel really delighted.
Okay.
Please verify I'm not wrong on that. So one of the things I didn't know was the difference between a tropical depression, which I think is
we all have.
It's we have it forever.
Yeah.
I think it's an Alan Jackson song maybe. He turned real right wing, I'm pretty sure. A tropical storm or hurricane.
Okay.
This is all wind speeds.
Okay.
So it's like winds in the first one, the tropical depression, 60 miles, tropical storm, 60 plus. And the storm gets a name.
Oh, yes.
And it's hurricane winds reach 120 kilometers per hour. And the hurricane needs to have a category.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Remember how our storm had a category 4?
Yeah.
Which is, it definitely didn't feel
No,
like
and it had
that.
a name.
Hillary.
Yeah.
Category 1 is minor damage.
Okay.
So you can think about category 5. That was Katrina.
Yeah.
That was
okay.
a real bad one.
So is 5 the max?
Well, that's all they go up to.
Okay.
As far as I know, that's the absolute worst that can destroy buildings. Okay.
Jeez, yeah.
Any guess on the longest hurricane? How long it lasted?
Oh, you mean ever?
Yeah, ever.
Okay. So a hurricane is not a cyclone. So you're saying, okay, a hurricane lasted 57 days.
Ooh, that's a good guess. 31 days.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was Hurricane John. That passed through the Pacific Ocean, and that was in 1994, longer than any other hurricane.
Wow.
Yeah. This hurricane, Hurricane Harvey, so a single hurricane can bring 1 trillion gallons of water. I can't even, how's that even a number?
I don't even know. Yeah. That's so many buckets.
I can't even imagine it. It is a lot of buckets. Hurricane Harvey poured about 24.5 trillion gallons of water back in September 2017. I don't even remember that one. There's so
No.
many, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
All right, so this is, I wanted to know this is called a cyclone. So hurricanes and cyclones are the same thing. They're just
Okay.
called different things in different parts of the world.
Yes.
This is the Bola cyclone. Took not less than 500,000 lives.
Where was that?
This is in Bangladesh in 1970.
Oh, God.
It's supposedly the worst in terms of loss of life.
That's horrible.
That was a baddie.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what this is weird to say favorite, but like when I was looking at, weird, unusual things about hurricanes, this is the one that like surprised me the most.
Okay.
Voodoo practitioners dropped by 90% after Hurricane Katrina.
Wait a second. Okay. So there were a bunch of voodoo practitioners in New Orleans or Louisiana.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. And then afterwards, because they died or they lost hope they realize nothing matters
They were like,
anymore.
"This is
and
fake."
I should probably get a real job.
Or they succeeded and we're like, all right.
They
Oh,
cast
that's
their
my
spells.
job. Yeah, they cast their spells.
And it worked.
Yeah.
They all collectively got together and said, let's tear some shit up.
Yeah.
I think here's the reality. The place that was most hardest hit in during Hurricane Katrina was some of the poorest areas.
Mm-hmm.
And the shops in those poorest areas were where the voodoo practitioners had their shops.
I see.
And so, yes, it was where they had their shops.
that's
So their
terrible.
businesses were destroyed. So they had, before the Katrina hurricane, they counted, they estimated around 3,000 voodoo practitioners, then dipped to 300 after the storm.
Jesus.
I mean, this site, it was
Had a hex on it.
it had a hex on it, so I don't know if we can trust it exactly with those numbers, but
So now, like, no more brick and mortar. Like, you have to go to Voodoo Online if you want. You got to go to like the Amazon of
You
Voodoo.
gotta go to, like,
if you want something done.
you got to really look harder.
Yeah.
There's like the voodoo food truck situation, I
Right.
think, happening more.
Yeah, right. Yes, because
And
there is
yeah.
a Voodoo Donuts. So I
You're
wonder.
right.
I wonder if that actually works. If there's also, I don't know what voodoo is. I only know it from Scooby Doo episodes. So I'm not
That's
really sure.
exactly
Yeah.
right. I read a little bit about voodoo because there was an article, I still have it up on my computer, called "Voodoo is Rebounding in New Orleans After Hurricane Katrina."
Oh, I'm glad
which
it's
is
come
good.
back.
But it talked a lot about how, Haitian voodoo, because I think there are different kinds from different
Yeah.
areas of the world. How it's actually a very positive practice.
Okay.
And a loving practice, and it's not the sort of Scooby-Doo
Take a doll of someone and stick a pin in it.
it's not as much that, but it's more about like loving and positivity.
Okay.
So they are getting their act together.
Okay.
I'm not saying they didn't have their act together. That doesn't sound right. It was just what came into my head. They're rebounding. So that's the good news
Okay.
from the horror of Katrina. Here's another interesting thing from Hurricane Sandy.
Okay. That was on the East Coast, right?
That was in-
Atlantic
that was in-
City and New York.
2012, I think, was Hurricane Sandy. This was a fact. It did not deter the guards of the unknown soldier's tomb.
Whoa.
So the unknown soldier's tomb, if you don't know about it, it's a monument dedicated to deceased U.S. service members whose remains are not identified.
Right.
It has guards since it's had guards since July 2nd, 1937, for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So it remains lit. Is that the idea? Isn't it a flame?
That I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was like an eternal flame or something.
That's a Bangles song. Is that
Yeah.
about the unknown soldier?
It is. It's yeah. So is Manic Mondays about the Marines. And Walk Like an Egyptian is about the French Foreign Legion.
You know what? They love war songs.
And that exhausts my knowledge of the Bangles.
I think that's all you need to know.
Wait, what were we saying? Oh, eternal flame. Right. So wait, why do they have to have guards there if there's no flame to?
Maybe because people will deface it. They'll
for
put graffiti on
fuck's
it or
sake.
they'll shit on it.
They should just wrap it in saran wrap and let those guys go home.
we wrapped it in saran wrap.
Later.
We're good.
So they stayed there throughout the storm. Is that what you're saying?
It says, yeah, even Hurricane Sandy can't stop the guards. The mighty guards of the post did not evacuate their positions during the hurricane, even though they had permission to hide. Instead, they voluntarily chose to stay in the middle of a hurricane.
Wow.
Weirdly, they all died, and then they didn't have.
And then their bodies were lost, and then there was a
Now they're part
statue
of it.
Yeah.
That was a joke I was going to try to keep going with, and then I realized maybe that wasn't going to fly. Okay,
that was funny.
Here's something interesting because my kids wanted me to explain what makes a hurricane.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, I think it has something to do with like warm air making cold air, and there's cold air, and then there's a front. And
I'd
then
be like, I'm going to bed.
yeah, I was like, then ask your
father.
dad. That's what I usually do. Scientists are not certain what triggers a hurricane.
Oh, see, so it's not just us. Scientists don't even know.
They're dumb too.
Yeah.
Science says that hurricanes usually form during warm temperatures.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't completely off.
Yeah.
The moisture of the air over the ocean rises and creates a spiral effect with a lowered air pressure. But even when I say that, I'm like,
Yeah,
like I don't even know what I just said, really. Duh. But what confuses the scientist is that hurricanes do not always happen in the right conditions of what triggers a hurricane. So like this happens, I guess, a lot, but it doesn't mean a hurricane always forms.
Okay, and so it always forms over the ocean? Is that
correct?
Okay, that's what a tropical storm means. It's coming from the ocean.
Yes.
Got it.
It's a common misconception in opening windows during hurricanes. So people think they should open the windows to balance the pressure in the house so that the windows don't break.
Right.
Logically. But according to experts, doing this strategy will only weaken the house.
Oh.
Because it allows more window. No. It allows more window.
More windows.
More window.
Now with more window.
Who doesn't want more window? By allowing more wind, unwanted debris, and rain to come inside your area. The safest thing to do is hide in the most sturdy area of your house.
Okay.
Right? All right. So I've given you, I think, some fun facts.
Yes. The factoids.
Who doesn't like a factoid?
Love a factoid.
I'm going to give you some information on how to stay safe.
Okay.
Some of it you're going to be like, duh.
That's okay.
Obvious.
I forget everything every time anyway, so the more you repeat it, the better.
Samesies. All right. Make a plan. Hurricane season. Hurricane season.
Hurricane season.
It starts on May 15th in the North Pacific and June 1st in the Atlantic and the Caribbean. It ends on November 30th.
Okay.
We are not out of hurricane season.
I didn't realize there were such specific dates. That seems strange, but okay.
Plan ahead. Okay. Write down emergency phone numbers. Keep them on your refrigerator. Program them into your cell phone too. Have an emergency supply kit. I mean, for everything,
Right.
we need an emergency supply
Right.
kit. I don't know how we haven't drilled that into your head enough. I think we have. Know your nearest shelter and different routes you can take to get there from your home.
Okay.
All right. Pet owners. Know shelters, a pet-friendly hotel, or an out-of-town friend or relative where you can take your pets in an evacuation. All right. Get your emergency.
Did your pets go crazy?
They did not care.
They didn't give a crap.
No. Sally can get very shaky during storms, but this to her was like, this is nothing.
Oh, okay.
I think the winter storm was so much worse
Okay.
that this was nothing to her. All right. During and after a hurricane, you may need supplies to keep your family safe and healthy. I mean, this is every natural disaster of which we've experienced
Right.
many, and we are all going to continue to experience more of.
Right.
If anybody has paid any attention to any of the news happening recently.
Yeah.
Food and water supply, medicine supply, power sources such as flashlights. Make sure you have batteries.
Yeah.
Your safety and personal items, your documents, medical documents, wills, passports, and personal identification, right? A
Right.
fireproof safe is a good idea to keep that stuff in. A fire extinguisher, even for hurricanes, because if your power lines go down, fires can begin even in hurricanes.
Right.
Know the difference between a hurricane watch and a warning.
Okay.
Does anybody know without me telling you?
I think it probably has
used to
something
know
to do
this.
with the distance from where you are.
A hurricane, I'm going to tell you.
Good.
A hurricane watch means hurricane conditions, which are sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or higher, are possible.
Okay.
Experts announce hurricane watches 48 hours before they expect tropical storm force winds to start. A hurricane warning is more serious. It means hurricane force winds are expected. So it's like, it's coming.
Right.
So, this is important. All right. Have your car's gas tank full.
Yes.
Always.
Always.
Clean your yard. Make sure there's nothing that could blow around during the storm and damage your home. Move bikes, lawn furniture,
Yes.
grills, propane tanks, and building material inside or under shelter, right?
We have a hula hoop. I really need some coffee. We had a drink your coffee. We have a basketball hoop,
Yes.
and Jimmy thought of all this stuff. I don't think of anything. I'm just like, oh, we're inside. Like, I'm such a dum-dum even with the show.
He does host a podcast about this.
I know, it's so embarrassing. So he and Oliver had to tip this huge basketball hoop over.
Oh,
and
good
put it
idea.
on the grass.
We didn't do that.
So that
Yeah.
the wind wouldn't blow it and strike it on the house. So,
that was smart.
Right? It's
Yeah,
smart.
that was really
I
smart.
know. I was really impressed. And then that morning, Oliver and Jimmy spent like an hour and a half cleaning out the gutters.
That's really smart too.
They got, in the pouring rain. He didn't think to do it ahead of time, but I didn't think to do it at all. So
I don't think our house has gutters. I think our garage does, but it's hard to get to our garage gutters. I would have to pay somebody to do that.
I'm sure there's mice and vermin in there anyway.
Oh,
it's probably like an owl living in there.
It is full of critters, I'm sure. Cover up windows and doors. Use storm shutters or nail pieces of plywood to the outside window frames to protect your windows.
Right.
I mean, that was not something we were going to do because we just didn't have the materials to do that. And we kind of knew that the winds weren't going to be that bad. We could see, however, a storm can always change, right? So it is better to be over-prepared, like Garen, than not.
I mean, I'm sure Benjamin could have hired some people to come over and put up those storm windows.
Oh, he would have had somebody from Angie's List in no time.
In a heartbeat.
Be ready to turn off your power. Okay, so know where your power system is. It's called a power system.
Power system.
Fill clean water containers with drinking water, okay? A lot of people say to fill up your sinks and bathtubs with water because if that gets cut off, you want to have some water extra,
Right. But would you drink water from your... I don't understand. I'm not drinking bathtub water.
If you have to. I mean, it's better than none. But, I mean, you want to have a full water supply for drinking, but you could use that to, like, wash your dishes. You could use that to do all the other things you need. Wash your hands.
Right.
What you need water for besides...
I'm just saying I know how well I clean a bathtub, and so I don't really want to...
You don't want to drink that. Flush your toilet. I think you could use that water to flush your toilet.
Oh, very smart. Yeah.
Check your carbon monoxide detector's battery to prevent CO poisoning. Ooh. That's important.
Got it.
Also, make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector if you don't.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. A lot of them have just what's it called? A smoke alarm. Mm-hmm. So these are all important things. Listen to the authorities on if you should evacuate or stay at home. Don't stay at home. If they tell you to evacuate.
Right. Evacuate.
We get that there are people who can't, because they might not have a car. They might not be mobile.
Right. But a lot of people are just stubborn.
Don't be like, I have to stay here to try to save my house.
Right.
Leave. Hurricanes can be influenced by climate change.
What?
It is impacting the number and severity of hurricanes across the globe, increasing the upper limits of hurricane strength and rain rates, which is making these storms more deadly. Obviously, if it's becoming because of the warmth above the oceans, our oceans are getting really hot.
Right.
They're so hot that all of our coral is dying. So obviously hurricanes, I don't think we should think of this as an isolated event where we live.
Right.
And I mean, if you're like, I don't know, I was thinking about buying some property in Florida.
Oof.
I don't know. Maybe don't.
Well, that's what I was thinking when you said it, because remember the ocean temperatures got like to 96, 100 this summer in Florida. So they probably have hurricanes constantly, right?
If they're going to start getting crazy hurricanes. But I still want to tell this other story about a person who survived Hurricane Sandy. Mm-hmm. It's in first person. I survived Hurricane Sandy. Okay? Okay. For 15 years, I lived in a beach bungalow in the Great Kills section of Staten Island, New York. It already sounds ominous.
Yeah, Great Kills?
Great Kills.
Jeez.
What does that even mean? Before Hurricane Irene hit in 2011, police drove through the neighborhood with their sirens screaming and ordered us through loudspeakers to evacuate. I boarded up and sandbagged my house, packed up my cats and my photos, and left for my mother's a few miles away. Her house flooded, but mine, which was right on the beach, didn't have a drop of water inside. Not one drop. Before Hurricane Sandy, nobody came around to say it was time to go. TV reports urged us to evacuate, but I really didn't think the hurricane was going to be that serious.
Okay.
For one thing, it had been downgraded to a superstorm. I intended to leave, but thought I could wait a while. At about 3:30 p.m. on October 29th, the power was shut down. I packed a bag so I could go to my mother's house to ride out the storm. My boyfriend, Billy, and I checked the house to make sure it was boarded up securely. Before packing up my cats, just side note, Billy
I know.
Doesn't he need to switch to Bill? At what age do we?
Yeah, I mean, some names work with the IE or the Y, but Billy, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Are you 32 and still Billy?
Billy.
Who is there? Somebody famous that's a Billy?
Billy Baldwin. Although he's William Baldwin.
Yeah. Do you think you should still be Billy Baldwin?
Billy
That's the example.
Billy Carter. It's the only Billy I can think of.
Isn't
and he was a disaster.
Yeah, Billy. I'm worried about this relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. Before packing up my cats, we drove around the neighborhood to see what was going on. When we got back, the water was coming up really high around the house. I'd never seen that before. We realized this was serious and ran inside to put the cats into crates. The water was rising fast, and at 5:45 p.m., I texted my mother. It doesn't look good. We might be in trouble this time.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought she went to her mother's twice now, and now she's back home?
No, that was another storm where she went to her mother's.
Oh, okay.
She was saying the other storm wasn't that bad. Okay. A big wave came like a tsunami and broke through the back wall. The house started filling with water, pushing shut the front door. We couldn't get out because most of the windows were boarded up, except for 2 small ones in the front that were about 18 inches wide. I slipped outside through one of them. Billy couldn't fit. I tried to open the door, but now the water was up to my waist and rising.
Oh, my God.
I went to the side of the house to try to pry off the wood from the windows, but a wave knocked me down. The water was now over my head.
Oh, my God.
I was treading water, and Billy handed me 2 of my cats through the window I'd slipped out of and just said, swim.
My God.
It was completely dark and the water was raging around me. I swam out into the middle of my road, trying to get to higher ground, but the current and the waves took me in another direction. I was holding my cats, Cleo and Dylan, above my head while using my legs to swim. I mean,
are the cats crated at this point?
No, she's holding them. Imagine how scary this is.
And also, cats freak the fuck out, and they're gonna scratch your eyes out.
Hold on.
Okay. Oh no.
I was wearing these big rubber rain boots, and they were filling with water, getting heavy. I'd gone about 30 feet when Dylan started jumping on my head, scratching me. There was a point at which I wanted to either hold on and go down with the cats, or let them both go and move on. I don't know how I'd gotten that far with them. I loved my cats as much as I've loved any person in my life, but I knew I'd die if I kept holding them. I was panicking. I let go of Dylan, my poor baby.
Oh my God.
I let him go and swam on, trying to find a place where I could get some footing and figure out my next move. Yeah, Dylan, you shouldn't have scratched her fucking head.
I can't even picture swimming down your I can't even picture the water that high.
It's amazing. I mean, how fast that happens, right?
And why did they just stay in the house? I don't understand why they thought it was better to go outside.
Well, I think the water was rising so fast in the house. What could they do?
Billy's still in the house.
Billy's still in the house.
The water's in the house.
Yeah, he's trapped in the house. He couldn't fit through the 18-inch window because Billy
we got a Winnie the Pooh situation.
Billy is not slim enough. Billy's not a tiny man.
Billy's stuck halfway, looking for his honey.
Yeah. Billy's got to get his honey. I was swimming with one arm while holding Cleo above the churning water with the other. I came upon a concrete fence and stood on top of it. On the second floor of the house in front of me, I could see candles. I screamed for help. With the next wave, I jumped back into the water and swam through a busted-out window, then around the rooms until I found a set of stairs half covered in water. The family upstairs told me to come up. I was crying hysterically and tried to leave to go find Billy, but the people wouldn't let me. They said if I left, I'd die. Waves were crashing through the house. Outside, boats from the marina had broken free from the docks and were drifting toward the house. I called my mother from someone's cell phone and told her I wasn't sure this house was going to make it either. I thought, Billy is dead. I know he is, and my cats are too. I've lost everything. After about 4 or 5 hours, the storm passed. Firemen came to rescue us, and I begged a policeman to drive me to my mom's. On the way, Cleo died in my arms.
What? Why did Cleo die?
Too much water.
Oh.
I guess she had swallowed too much water. I got to my mother's house holding my dead cat, my face all bashed up, and I said to her, Billy didn't make it. She took Cleo from my arms and made me lie down on the bed and hugged me, and we just started crying. It was 3 or 4 in the morning. I hadn't seen Billy for at least 10 hours. I started to close my eyes, and I dreamed that Billy walked in. Then I realized he was really there. He had come to tell my mom that I was gone. He had gotten out of the house and had been looking for me all night, asking people if they had seen a woman holding 2 cats when we saw each other.
No, but I saw one woman holding one dead cat.
Yeah. Nope, not her.
No, must be someone else.
I lost my home and everything inside it, including all my photos. It took a while for me to feel grateful that I'm alive, but I got there. Stuff is just stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That I need to see footage. I just can't. I mean, I've seen people like going down the street in a in a float or something.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what it looks like. I just can't picture it over your head, like you're in the ocean.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's so fast in the water. I mean, they say like 6 inches of water can take you down, right? Because it can be so fast and powerful.
Did you guys have a lot of hurricanes where you grew up?
In Ohio?
Yeah.
None.
Oh, I guess because there's no ocean there.
It's
landlocked.
Midwest.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
That's okay. I mean, we have a lake.
Yeah, no lake hurricanes.
We have hurricanes aren't known for our lakes aren't known for their hurricanes. We have lake
tornadoes.
effect. Oh yeah,
That's what we get.
we have roofs that get swept off of houses. If you see The Wizard of Oz, you can get an idea of what houses fly in the sky.
Holy moly!
Everything's black and white. It's,
Until you start singing, and then
then it's color. Mm-hmm. That's a cool. They revealed how they did that opening thing. It's her stand-in was opening the door, and then she comes out. Anyway, it's really.
Are you awake?
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You like went off into like a fugue state. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That was amazing. You were like,
do you literally not know what I was talking about? Like, was it that unclear?
I didn't. I don't understand.
You literally don't know what I'm talking about.
I gathered it was.
I thought it was about Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz related.
It's when it goes from black and white to color.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that's what we were talking about.
No, I just didn't. I don't understand the reference, but I want to know.
Okay. Well, when she opens the door, right, it's
Yes.
black and white, and then she opens it and it's color. And I'm trying to remember exactly how they did it, but it's like, because she's, fuck. It's something about her stand-in opens the door and then she pops up from out so that she's in colorful clothes. That doesn't make sense.
Well,
I don't know.
Shot it from behind.
They did shoot it from behind. Yeah, they shoot it from behind. But then I also was plagued with this recent revelation of people online being mad at Judy Garland because she did blackface when she was like 17 and, was completely drugged out of her mind and was a child and treated like shit. And then the woman who originally posted it was like, well, I didn't even know who she was before today. And it's like, well, then you really don't understand anything and you don't know. You have to put context around things.
Yes.
So,
can we all just have some fucking nuance, please?
Right. My kingdom for some nuance. So anyway, I'm sorry. I am tired. I apologize. This is not professional of me.
Oh.
I went on a bender and had 2 drinks.
How dare you
And
have 2.
I'm not acting my normal self.
You're not acting your age.
Yeah, or my shoe size.
I want a T-shirt that says "My Kingdom for some nuance."
Yeah. Anyway, I apologize.
You
That was.
do not need to apologize. It was hilarious.
I really wish I had got coffee now, but then I wouldn't
thought
be able
you
to sleep
did have
tonight.
coffee.
I had coffee this morning. Yeah.
Oh, but that was like at 7.
Yes, it was.
Why don't we take a break?
Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off with your first order at bollandbranch.com. Code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Canva presents your work horoscope for this week. Deadlines are in retrograde, which we all know can bring some intense energy. Our advice: fend off this forecast with Canva. Like Canva whiteboards to counter creative blocks, and Canva docs for clarity in communications. If you have any sales deals coming through, results will be in your favor with Canva presentations, manifesting many wins for you. It's a great week to love your work at canva.com.
Welcome back to How to Survive. Danielle,
Christine,
how was your break?
it was delightful. I had a mini Lara bar.
The bars are getting smaller. Do they feel like the full size
getting
bar?
bigger.
The full size bar was more calories than we could take in a snack.
No, it's just I don't bring a full bar for the snack.
My bars are small too, and I'm wondering the logic on this.
Well, I have a full bar for breakfast, but I have perfect bars, which are refrigerated.
Wait a second. Your breakfast is also a bar?
Yeah.
Danielle.
What? Is that
No.
bad? Why? It's
You need
protein.
food, real food. Come on.
It's Soylent Green.
This is not
people.
healthy.
But it is healthy. It's got protein. It's got an egg in
It's
it.
made up food. It's
I crack an egg on top like I'm fancy.
Manufactured food. So you're eating a bar.
What do you eat for breakfast?
Oatmeal and a banana with blueberries and pecans.
Oh, that takes so much time.
It's very
homely.
homely.
Ugly?
My breakfast is
Homey?
ugly?
In England, they say
homish?
homely when they mean homey.
Okay, well, we're not in England.
I know.
Clearly.
Go to hospital, all of you.
Put your jumper on, Garen.
Go on holiday. What do they say? Yeah.
At hospital.
At hospital. Well, I make Oliver's lunch and breakfast in the morning. And I don't,
What does he get for breakfast?
Well, you're going to judge me for his breakfast.
Let's hear it.
He has a toasted bagel with butter and a smoothie.
And you don't enjoy yourself that you.
Sometimes if there's leftover smoothie, I'll have some of the leftover smoothie.
Danielle. I think we're all feeling a little bit sad right now.
Well, okay.
I had an apple.
You had an apple?
Normally, I don't eat breakfast at all.
You don't?
What Garen means is he had a Celsius flavored
Apple
Celsius flavor.
Yeah. He had an,
It's an actual apple.
yeah. Well,
I
I
just dip
want
it in Celsius.
You were dipping Celsius? Like chaw? Like chew?
He pours Celsius
Dip the
into a
apple
bowl and
into
then he
the-
dips the apple
Oh,
in it.
I thought you meant dip. Like, isn't tobacco called
Yes,
dip?
yes, it is.
He did a chew.
Yeah.
I want to bring in our guest because
Yes.
he's so patiently sitting here. On the first half of the show, we talked about hurricanes.
Yes.
And now we're going to talk about other toxic liquids, right?
Yes.
Something like that with Chris Regan.
Yay!
Hi, Chris.
Hi, everybody.
Chris is here.
Thanks for having me.
I thought I knew Chris because I've listened to Never Not Funny, and it turns out we had never met before.
Nope. Never.
No.
Not on either one of our respective Hollywood journeys have we bumped into each other.
Well, probably because our journeys take. One of us has an economical journey, and one of us has a sort of lavish trip. Chris writes on Family Guy, none other than Family Guy.
Nice.
And when I was thinking of you yesterday and you being on the show, I realized that neither Jimmy or I have ever said this out loud, but we were watching Family Guy pretty religiously right before I gave birth.
Okay.
And I cannot say with 100% certainty that we didn't give Oliver the middle name of Griffin because we were watching
Wow.
Family Guy.
I had no
I think
idea.
it might be in our heads. It just might have been in our heads. And we were like, yeah, Griffin. Oh, I don't know. We've never acknowledged it to each other.
Well, Stewie's middle name is Gilligan, so you could have gone in a totally different direction.
I think Griffin was the
Griffin's
right
much
choice.
better.
Yeah.
Much better. How long have you been on the show?
10 years, and I think this is my 11th season or something.
Wow.
We're interrupted right now.
Right, 'cause of the strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started there in 2013.
Wow.
Or so, yeah.
And is it so much fun?
It is.
That's great.
It's a lot of fun. The people I work with are great. And it's a network show that does 20 episodes a year, which is a rarer and rarer
Wow.
beast,
Yeah,
as we've learned certainly during this strike that a lot of TV
Yes.
shows just do eight episodes and they're done. And it's a show that's still liked by a lot of people. I think it's the 7th most popular streamed show across all platforms.
Wow.
Well, that's
the
something
dream.
to put on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put it on your picket sign.
which is which is very much accountant talk.
Yeah.
But it's it's kind of a big deal in the era of where people just aren't watching things anymore.
So out of curiosity, how big is the writer's room? How many regular writers do you have?
About 15. It's pretty big.
That's big.
But
that's
it's
amazing.
It's a very, very joke heavy show. Like
Yes.
if you look at any kind of sitcom, like every fourth line is a joke. It's rare we have a line that isn't a joke, so we need a lot of people to
Wow.
constantly crank out. And I came from late night originally too.
Which late night?
I was on the Daily Show for a bunch of years.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
then I came out here and floundered for a bit. I was on a lot of shows that got canceled after one season.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it sort of speaks to someone with sort of a joke-heavy background.
Yeah,
just to kind
that
of
makes
keep
sense.
churning all that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
out.
It's such a good show. It's so funny. I mean, we love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so Chris, get into this story. I want to know all about it.
Okay,
When does it take place? Where are we?
It takes place in 2 summers. Well, I worked at this place for 2 summers when I was in college. First one was summer of 1986, and it was at Stewart International Airport in Newburgh, New York.
Okay.
Which is halfway between New York and Albany along New York scenic mid-Hudson Valley. It has the longest runway in the world.
Oh,
And,
interesting.
And at the time, it was known around the region for being the fourth backup for the space shuttle landing strip.
Wow,
so
really?
If the other three were somehow immobilized by disaster, the space shuttle could safely land on the very, very, very long runway at Stewart International Airport.
I thought space shuttles land in the water.
The capsules do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Shuttles land when they don't explode. They land.
They land.
On a runway.
Okay.
Sort of
I think
scenario.
I've just watched the opening credits of I Dream of Jeannie too many times.
Yes,
and thought that they just land in the water.
Yeah. The days of gently landing via parachute in a,
Right.
in a small death can are behind us. But when I was there, it had seen better days. They were trying to get an airline in, but what it was mostly was the Air National Guard was there, and they had these huge jets called C-5As that are the largest planes on Earth, and they're mostly transport planes. Okay. And everyone was guarded by one man with a machine gun. And there would be a yellow line around it that guys like me were told never to cross, or we would be machine gunned. Even though a lot of the times the Air National Guard pilots were taking these jets to fly to Maine to get lobster and bring them back and sell them to people. It was kind of a scandal in the late 80s, and I was there. But it was managed by Lockheed, the defense contractor.
Right.
They had a division called Lockheed Air Terminal, which was airport maintenance, and that's who I worked for.
Okay.
And I made $5.25 an hour, and this is a time when minimum wage was $3.35 an hour.
Oh, so this is a well-paying job.
It's kind of a big deal. And you had to know someone to get there. And our neighbor at the time was a secretary for Lockheed, so she put my name in. And we worked on the grounds crew. And every summer, there were 3 college guys. And we were thrown in with the lifers on the grounds crew. And there was more than one ex-con there. It was
Really?
usually,
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
was that intentional? Like, we got to get 3 college kids, we got to get an ex-con.
I think a lot of permanent landscaping situations sometimes attract people who don't kind of fit easily into the other slots of employment in our society.
Gotcha.
And but no, it was a union job. I had to join the union. I had to have a physical, like a full. I was 19 years old and had to have a full old man's physical.
Wow.
Like I had things put in me that I'd never had at that age in my life. And but yeah, it was $5.25 an hour. All the guys were kind of tough customers who us college kids worked with. And occasionally, if one of us ever talked back to one of the guys, we would get during lunchtime something called attitude adjustment, where they would throw us into a dark room.
What?
And guys would come in and blindly give us Charlie horses really, really hard in our legs.
Wait, what?
No,
Was this officially the job?
Again,
Let
me back up. This was $5.25 an hour.
Oh, I understand. Okay, I got it now.
Oh, right.
But
right.
it's like-
I remember they added. I remember that.
Yeah. You had to earn
This
that money.
sounds insane.
It's like Black Ops?
No,
they just took you to a...
It was insane. We were the grounds crew, the maintenance crew, but there were a lot of older, kind of tough guys there.
So before we go back to giving you a Charlie horse, which I didn't know was a thing. I didn't know you could give someone a Charlie horse.
But you had an older brother. Oh, he didn't do that.
Oh,
okay.
we wrestled and stuff, but I don't remember him punching me in the calf. Is that what a Charlie horse
Oh,
is?
it's in the thigh.
And then it can bubble up.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I got those.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
But I didn't get paid for it. This guy.
We more just pulled hair.
And then it would end with one of them dumping a bucket of cold water on you. And then you would limp out and finish your lunch.
So what did you do wrong that got you this?
I think there were 2 other guys there who got a lot.
Were those the ex-cons or?
No, they're 2 other college students who were a bit mouthy. And I think they were also sons of airport executives who got this job.
Oh, entitled.
Yeah, I was the son of a butcher, and I kind of knew you needed to operate a little differently around blue-collar guys.
Yeah.
And I think the 2 the 2 wealthier kids hadn't really figured that out. So I only got it once.
I was going to say, I think if it happened to me once, I think I'm quiet for the rest of the summer.
I'm kind of glad those other kids got it.
Is this a code red? Is that what A Few Good Men is about? Getting drug into a building and beaten into a
I
Charlie
think
horse?
he's just giving us the plot to A Few Good Men.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, if any of you guys can handle this truth.
Yes.
What
was your job exactly?
I was maintenance.
Right, but like of the airplanes or just of the
No,
grounds?
of the grounds.
Okay.
And
So you're mowing and like
well, the full-time guys, the guys who administer these beatings,
the terrorists.
that was their job.
like they would do the huge mowers.
Okay.
And acres upon acres upon acres.
Oh, okay.
And then us college students who were there for the summer, we would do the edges on small mowers, stuff like
okay.
that. But it also involved just kind of general maintenance, particularly if it was a rainy day. You were put inside. And one day, like my first week there on the job, I remember 2 of the permanent guys drove me out to this old building way, way, way in a far kind of abandoned edge of the airport. And my job was to knock down a wall inside of this building.
Okay.
And they gave me a hammer and a pair of goggles, and I knocked it down. None of these guys were engineers, and the ceiling collapsed on me.
No.
So
No.
I basically ran out in time.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Even as a 19-year-old, I was like, this isn't a big building, and there's one wall down the middle.
Right.
Like, maybe this needs to be a 2-room structure.
Oh my God.
So that was my first taste of near death at the job. But, we also just kind of walked around and fixed up stuff. If there was a dead animal somewhere, we had to get rid of it.
Gotcha.
It was it was a job where I really, I went home at 4:00 every day, completely sunburned, sweated through. It was really, really hard work.
Yeah. But
And
$5.25.
the $5.25 an hour.
Right.
And, so we were the maintenance crew. There was also the guys in kind of the auto pool who we sort of dealt with,
Okay.
who fixed our trucks and things like that. And these guys, they were all mostly Vietnam vets who were very angry at Jane Fonda.
boy.
Throughout where they worked, they had
Still.
they had like a bulletin board called Jane Fonda alerts, where they would put up clippings about politicians they felt weren't particularly friendly enough to Vietnam vets.
Oh boy.
And like I now this is like half the country,
Right.
but back in
Yes.
these days, like these guys are kind of crazy. Every one of them had
Right. They were ahead of time.
Yeah. Every one of them had a Vietnam vets are not fond of Jane.
Wow.
Bumper sticker on their
That's
car.
kind of witty. It's
I
pretty
mean,
witty.
compared to what you see now.
Yeah.
On bumper
Yeah,
stickers
right.
in particular.
Just things spelled wrong.
And those guys used to have something called a monkey cannon, which was a whole bunch of tin cans soldered together. And they would put lighter fluid in the bottom of it, and they would stick a tennis ball in the front, and they would heat the lighter fluid and shoot this tennis ball at you. And if that hit you, that left a worse bruise than the punches in the leg.
And they did this for fun?
To
punish you?
They'd be laughing their heads off if you got hit with the monkey.
Was this as a punishment for you not doing your work, or was this something they just did for their own entertainment?
It was for their own entertainment. It was for a punishment of me being 19 and full of life.
So this was the Vietnam vets doing this, or
Yes.
these were your bosses?
No, the Vietnam vets had the cannon,
Oh my God.
and my bosses in the grounds crew, just had their fists.
Were you just terrified every day to go to work?
You eventually get sort of like, I'm in this.
Yeah.
This is my lot in life. These guys they all had a great sense of humor
Yeah.
about what they were putting us through. Like when I came back from the job with the hammer, and this is an hour before cell phones and radios, when the building collapsed,
Yeah.
I had to wait there for 2 hours before someone picked me up because you weren't allowed to walk across the runway on foot.
Oh.
Yeah.
But no, these guys, it was a million laughs for them every day.
I bet.
And for guys like me, it was always like, well, it's $5.25 an hour,
Right.
And maybe at the end of the day, one of the guys will give us a beer,
Oh my God.
So, but
But they shot up your ass?
yeah,
This is like hazing.
Yeah. This is called a bottle rocket.
yeah, it was like being in Skull and Bones, except
Yeah.
I didn't become a senator
Right.
or anything.
right.
But so you'd get beaten regularly. You'd be shot with the monkey cannon regularly. And one time in the garage, again, another rainy day activity, we would have to sharpen blades for the mowers.
Oh no.
And like mowers have this big cylinder at the front of them, at least the old ones used to. And they all had small blades attached to them that would fly around and cut the grass. And it was up to us guys to take each one and shave it.
Okay.
And I was there in a grinder one day, and I had my Walkman on with the big fuzzy
Sure.
things, and I was just grinding away, and the grinder is two big stones that spin at like 200 miles an hour
Okay.
on a motor, and you just hold and then you put them in another box. And one day I was there, and the string from my sweatshirt got caught in the gears. And it yanked my head an inch away from the stone.
Oh my God.
Which would have killed me or permanently maimed me. Finally, the string tore out of my sweatshirt.
Oh, thank God.
And I pulled my head back, and I was just in a daze. And I remember shutting off the motor and walking outside, and I kept walking to where I was out of range of the garage, and I just started sobbing.
Oh, my God.
It was really the closest I had come quietly and silently by myself to a very, very painful
Jesus.
death.
Wow.
And I remember like that night, I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell any.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
didn't tell anybody?
And I remember I went back to the machine, and I very deliberately pulled the cord of my sweatshirt out of the gears because I didn't want to be blamed for destroying this
Yeah.
particular
You're like, I'm going to get in
machine.
trouble for almost dying.
Yeah, because I lost like 20 minutes of grinding time.
Oh
Yeah.
my
on
God.
that.
And the worst part is it's so hard to put those strings back in your sweatshirt. I mean, that is, it is a fucking
Oh,
pain in the
yeah.
ass.
You got to get like a
safety
safety
pin and then push it
do
through.
all the squeezing.
Oh,
and
it's
you might as well
just tedious.
Throw the sweatshirt away.
But it really would have been a Stephen King.
Well, how did it
Death.
not come close to hitting the blade? Oh, because the blade's not attached to it. You're holding the blade.
Yeah, I'm holding the blade.
So I get it. Okay.
Spinning stone,
Right.
my face, listening to
Yeah, what
pop
was-
music on
Yeah.
my
Oh, my
on
God.
my enormous Walkman. And yes, I mean, so it was constant. And I look back at it now, and I'm just like, how did I survive this?
Yeah.
But that was basically just, well, I had to do this if I wanted to go back to college, et cetera, et cetera. But I guess the real the biggest disaster I ever had there was we used to have a defoliant called Green Death. And that wasn't a nickname. That was the name on the side of the boxes. That,
Oh my
Are
God.
you serious?
Yeah. It was the manufacturers had named this defoliant Green Death.
What is a defoliant?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
A defoliant, it's a fancy name for a weed killer. Like
Okay.
Oh, wow.
In Vietnam, Agent Orange was a defoliant that would remove leaves from trees, so when you were flying over, you could look down and see if the Viet Cong were.
That was the purpose of Agent
Okay.
Orange.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it'd get rid of anyone's cover and many years off the lifespan of the people.
Right, exactly. Right.
Who were nearby its application. But we would use it as a weed killer because on the runway, of which there was millions and millions of square feet of it, a weed would come through the crack and you would have to spray it and kill it.
Okay.
And we used to, so Green Death would come in these enormous drums, and it was powder, and you would have to mix it and pour and put it in a sprayer. And this is also apple country where I grew up, and there are sprayers that were always spraying spray. So this was kind of a piece of machinery I was familiar with.
Okay.
But one of our jobs as a 19-year-old was to fill up this sprayer with Green Death, and it had a gun, a spray gun on it, attached to it, and it was a motorized kind of cart, and you would hook it up to the back of a truck.
Okay.
And the truck would drive along the runway, and you would sit there. You would sit atop the sprayer as this truck was going 20 or 30 miles an hour, and the guy in the front would yell out left or right to you, and you would turn and zap where there were cracks in the runway where weeds were coming up.
Gotcha.
And I would do experiments with Green Death in that I would occasionally just give it a shot of some plant, and you could sit there, and within a 2-minute period, you could watch the plant slowly wither and die.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And I also should point out that I Googled Green Death in anticipation of coming here, and they stopped using it in the late 90s because apparently it was too toxic.
Okay.
And we had a training seminar slideshow about how to use Green Death, and didn't say anything about sitting on top of a sprayer and being driven very quickly along a runway. But they did talk very intensively about wearing a suit, a white... like
a hazmat suit?
Yeah, wearing a hazmat suit. And you would wear a big respirator.
Right.
And you would wear goggles. It was oftentimes on that asphalt 100 degrees. So we would oftentimes not wear any of that gear.
Right.
So one time I went out to spray Green Death, And I had no hazmat suit. I had no respirator.
Just a bikini.
Or goggles. It was my standard outfit of work pants and shirt.
Yeah.
And that was usually a pair of jeans I'd worn the knees through, in middle school that I was still able to fit into. And so I was assigned to do this with a guy who had just started there permanently. I'll change his first name.
Okay.
But his name was Dennis Sestaro.
Okay.
An Italian-American. We used to call him Chestero because he would always wear deep scoop tank tops with a big hairy chest.
Yes.
Nice.
And Dennis was not the sharpest knife in the drawer. He was a volunteer fireman. Every Monday he would come in and talk about their hose down. Mm-hmm. And hose down was some kind of ritual where you would go to a different fire department that had a new truck and you would drink beer all day. So
Okay.
Dennis was always a little hungover.
Oh, no.
But he was there kind of on a temporary, like, maybe we might hire you.
Okay.
And, in upstate New York, it was a union job. It was a steady job.
Mm-hmm.
And, but there weren't a lot of employment options up there. So Dennis Sestaro was trying really hard to make good with the bosses. So he was driving the truck, and I was sitting on the back with my gun, shooting green death at any crack that I saw. And Dennis kept stopping the truck. It's like, we're not getting this job done fast enough. We got to go faster. So Dennis kept turning up the pressure on the pump.
Oh, boy.
So I would have a more effective, stream shooting
More
out.
and more death.
Yeah. Like I'd really be able to, we'd cover a lot more ground more quickly.
Oh, Dennis.
And then Dennis hopped out at one point and he cranked the pump up, and I heard the engine just strain under it.
Oh, no.
And I suddenly heard this pop.
Oh, no.
A little pop. And it felt like someone had turned a garden hose on my back. And it was going up and down.
Oh, no.
And the hose had ruptured away from the pump and was spraying my entire body with green death.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
And I knew enough to close my eyes really hard and jump down off the truck.
What?
And I began to scream at Dennis, and I didn't dare open my eyes.
Right.
And Dennis, being a volunteer fireman, he kept his cool, and he said, oh my fucking God. And Dennis managed to shut the machine off, and I was covered entirely in this defoliant. And so Dennis, he unlatched the sprayer, and he threw me in the back of the truck. He knew well enough not to keep me in the cab with him. And he said, we're going to take you to the crash house. And every enormous airport has its own fire department.
Oh.
So he sped me there, and we used to call it the crash house because ideally they would be there in case of a crash and put it out. And again, I have my eyes closed. I don't know where I'm going. I'm completely blind. Oh. And we get to the crash house.
Does it hurt?
It doesn't hurt.
Okay.
No.
It just feels wet.
It feels wet and hot. And like it wasn't burning me or anything, but it had been in the hot sun. This thing, and it smelled terribly. I mean, it just smelled toxic. It was, and we had the windows cranked. I was just looking for any sort of fresh air source to kind of, draw air in from above me, and they got me to the crash house, and Dennis was explaining to the guys what had happened, and. These guys went into, emergency mode. These guys are real firemen. And I was 19 years old and hadn't seen a lot of the world. Mm-hmm. And then 3 or 4 gentlemen were taking all my clothes off.
Oh, boy.
They said, okay, look, we're going to shower you down.
Oh, my God.
And I was waiting nude at some part of this firehouse with my eyes shut, waiting for these guys to do something with me. There was a pause where apparently they were putting on hazmat suits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're smart.
So they wisely put on hazmat suits and walked me into this shower and scrubbed me down. These 2 gentlemen in their 40s and 50s who I'd never met before.
Oh, my God.
And they gave me a good, hard scrubbing. And I'd seen Silkwood in the theaters. In fact, it was the first movie I ever took a girl to.
Oh, what a fun date movie.
What a great date movie.
We had one movie theater in town, and we were always kind of beholden to what was showing there. And she and I had a date Friday. I'm like, well, I guess it's Silkwood. I remember on my birthday seeing a documentary called In Search of Historic Jesus, because that was the only thing playing. So these guys scrubbed me down.
Did that hurt? Are they like scrubbing really hard?
It didn't tickle.
Yeah, I bet.
They were really.
Are they using, like, in that kind of situation, are they using soap, or is it like a sort of, special?
It was a detergent because I felt like the powder on me, like the old.
Right.
there used to be soap dispensers in men's rooms that used to give you like just this
I remember that from grade school.
Yeah, it used to give you that sort of coarse soap.
Yes.
It was like that. So that was actually the most uncomfortable
I bet.
part of the process because it was this sort of granular sort of like body scrub on me. And then they did this all silently too, which was very strange.
What did you want them to say to you?
I don't know.
Whispers something?
Like, I don't know, like maybe assure me you're not looking at my genitals.
Right.
You know?
Just to let you know, Chris, we're not looking at your genitals.
Thank you, gentlemen. And then so they gave me some privacy, and they were like, you can open your eyes now. So I was, I opened my eyes, and I was red from just being scrubbed.
I bet.
And they had a stack of just spare clothing there, just spare clothing they found around the firehouse, and it was a very big pair of pants and a very big shirt.
Oh my God!
I went back the following day, and and some of the permanent guys were kind of laughing at me.
I bet.
And we all had our coffees and our donuts and stuff like that. And I was assigned to a truck to go out to do some kind of menial job with two of the older fellas. And suddenly my boss ran out to the truck, and he just said to the driver, drop Regan off at admin. I'm like, okay. So they dropped me off at the administration building, which we never really went to because that's where all the guys in suits and stuff went, all the Lockheed employees. And I remember waiting there. And suddenly I was brought into this, and it wasn't a conference room. It was sort of a military era, like 1950s room with a light hanging down and a steel table. And I went there, and two guys came in. One guy I'd seen around. He was an airport manager. But there was another guy, kind of like an old Marine with a buzz cut. And I remember his belt buckle was all the way off to the side. I'm like, is that something I'm going to do as an old dude? I just don't know what he's doing.
That's hysterical.
But they sat me down, and they wanted to talk to me about what they heard had happened yesterday.
Oh, boy.
And I told them about it, and they're like, okay, well, all right. And then the administrator guy left me with the guy with the crew cut.
Oh, no. And
he was like, I know I might not look like it, but I'm a lawyer.
Oh.
He said to me, like, okay. And he's like, now, this organization takes blah, 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 very seriously, blah, blah, blah. You weren't wearing a hazmat outfit, blah, blah, blah. Where were your goggles, young man, blah, blah, blah. What about the respirator, blah, blah, blah. And that's what we all do. We just go out there and do that. He's like, okay, that's kind of what I figured. Hey, look, fill this all out here and sign it at the bottom.
Oh, boy.
That you won't sue, right?
I assume that's what it said. Because both these guys were sort of telling me, like, you create, do you know what it costs to get you scrubbed down? Like, we have told, like...
You did this thing.
Yeah.
Basically saying, well, you activated the crash house, and you created this hazard by not wearing, ABC. And honestly, they kind of have a point. I should have been wearing some of that stuff. But there wasn't a boss telling me as a 19-year-old, like, hey, you really need to wear this stuff. And the first thing on the little packet of paper that I was looking at was, and I'd signed a lot of weird things working for Lockheed because it was a defense contractor.
Yeah.
I remember before I started there, because this was the Reagan era, 1980s, I had to sign a lengthy anti-communist pledge in order to mow lawns at this airport. Yes.
Oh, my God.
And it was one of those things where it had been mimeographed and copied a dozen different times, so it was almost impossible to read the thing. But I signed something avowing that I didn't even know communists, and I was in film school at the time, so I knew tons of communists. So I wasn't used to having Lockheed have me sign my rights away. But the first part of this packet was a healthcare questionnaire. Like, have you been experiencing headaches? Do you have any sores? Do you have, and just asking if in the, whatever at that point, 12 or 14 hours since this event, if I was having any adverse health effects. I was like, no. So I just marked no on everything. And then there was just a whole bunch of legalese and just, $5.25 an hour.
So were you scared sitting in the room with them?
Oh, yeah. I've always been a little terrified of any sort of authority figures.
Yeah, especially if they give you like Charlie horses in a dark room.
Yeah. There was no place on that airport where there was a safe adult around you at all. It was all people who had your worst interests at heart. So I just kind of signed everything, and they're like, "Okay, great. we're going to call your boss and they'll pick you up. And then a truck came by and picked me up, and within an hour I was mowing the lawn again. And
crazy.
And
They knew how to protect themselves.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And I remember that night I went home and I went to bed, and around 2:30 in the morning I woke up with the worst headache I've ever had in my entire life. And I'm not a guy who gets headaches. And it was so bad that I threw up from the headache.
Oh, wow. That's like a migraine.
This violent headache that made me throw up. And I was just thinking about, what did I sign away
exactly.
today? But here we are, 37 years later.
So you were okay after that headache?
So far.
I want you to write Green Death into a Family Guy.
A Family Guy episode?
You guys go back. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have some work to do when we go back.
Yeah,
so
I bet.
Please work that into an episode and then let us know so we can see it.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
Thank you so much. This was really, really crazy, funny story.
Thank you, guys. I enjoyed the show, and I was looking forward to coming on.
Oh, thank you. And we will be right back with What Did We Learn Today?
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This episode is sponsored by AutoTrader. There's a good chance you're driving right now. Look around. Safely. What do you see? Cars. Lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends. Did somebody say solar-powered, eco-friendly, vegan, leather-wrapped, aromatherapy-scented, disco ball-equipped, self-driving car? If you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. Big cars, small cars, blue cars, new cars, used cars, electric cars, and one day, maybe even flying cars. With millions to choose from, buying a car becomes a whole lot easier. See it, find it, AutoTrader. Find your next car on autotrader.com.
Danielle.
Kristine.
Are you ready to learn some stuff?
So ready.
It's what we learned today.
Love it. Sometimes, but not often. With my bar, I have a Diet Coke.
Oh my God. I'm in a rage right now. I know my voice doesn't sound like it, but I am full of rage.
I usually just have water. Actually, when it's not so freaking hot, I have tea.
Okay. Tea is good for you.
Yeah, but now that it's so hot, I usually just have water with it.
Most cataracts happen because of normal changes in your eyes as you get older. When you're young, the lens in your eye is clear. Around age 40, the proteins in the lens of your eye start to break down and clump together. This clump makes a cloudy area on your lens known as a cataract.
Maybe I should eat cataracts because they're full of protein.
Well, I have one.
I could eat your face.
It's fine. Go ahead. Maybe I'll get a new one. It could be like the way, people like to exfoliate off of an area of their whole layer of their face.
Yeah.
And get the new one.
You could just do that to your cataract.
Eat my face off. Even though your dog is safe and sound in your home, dogs nonetheless retained the protective trait from their wolf ancestors. Now circling before they lay down has simply become habit. In addition to self-protection, circling and nesting helps dogs in the wild to make their sleeping space more comfortable. Impact on direction based on hemisphere is inconclusive. So I'm wrong? Or just it's not...
I couldn't find anything.
Oh, so it's inconclusive because you couldn't find anything. Yeah. Oh, that's hysterical. He's just going to say that from now on. Did you do your homework?
Inconclusive.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Storm watch. Conditions are likely. Storm warning. Conditions are certain. All right. I'll take it. The moment Dorothy emerges from her house after the tornado in MGM's The Wizard of Oz is one of the most memorable scenes in movie history. To create it, the moment is disguised by the use of a sepia-painted set and dim lighting to make it look like the film is still in black and white.
Okay, right.
The door is actually opened by Judy Garland's double, dressed in a sepia-toned outfit to complete the illusion. After she backs away, Garland herself steps forward in her blue gingham dress. I'm going to watch that soon. My kids have not seen it yet.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to look out for that moment.
Yeah, because that's right. She opens the door and backs out of frame so you can see all of Oz in Munchkinland in color and then comes out. Right. So yeah, it's really brilliant. I mean, the things they did before special effects when they had to use practical effects, it's So cool. I love that stuff.
I'm more impressed by that stuff than now you just go, oh, green screen.
Yeah.
It's not as impressive.
Right.
We have a live show, guys.
Yes.
We have links to the tickets on Linktree. You know where that is. It's on Instagram. Click on it. Mm-hmm. Also, guess what? Benjamin didn't go to school yesterday, and he worked on updating our Instagram page, which means all the little circles at the top are now links. And one of them is for our live show.
Wait, how did he know how to do that?
He Googled it. I said, he was like, I need screen time. And I was like, you don't get any screen time today. The only screen time you're getting is updating our Instagram page. So that's what I made him do.
That's like in Arkansas or whatever that state is that's letting kids work at a younger age.
Well,
you're cutting edge.
That's what I'm doing. I'm making them work.
Love it.
For us, we have 11-year-old interns. And so that's one place you can get the tickets. Also, go to our newsletter.
Yep.
Website.
Facebook, Twitter,
all the different places. You can get our tickets. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Guys, come see us live.
Yeah,
we're going to wear dresses. We're going to look pretty. Yeah. I'm going to get my eyebrows done.
Are you really? I thought you said you stopped doing that, so this is a special occasion.
I have, but it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
I'm going to let somebody go in and manage the craziness going on up here. It's starting to look like Groucho Marx. He had crazy eyebrows, right?
Yeah.
You're insane.
I know. I know. I think they look on fleek.
They just need a little grooming.
Okay.
A little bit of grooming.
I also am not guaranteeing that I'm going to wear a dress. I will be dressed up, but she just got the look of rage in her eyes. I look better in pants than in dresses.
I disagree. You don't have to wear a dress. I love a pantsuit. I love a dress pant.
Okay.
I love a look.
It's going to be a look. It's going to be an LEWK.
You are not allowed to wear all black. God damn it.
Oh.
No.
Wait, what if the top is a pattern that has black and white in it? Does that count?
I'll think about it.
Oh, fuck.
Am I bossing Danielle around too much?
Yeah.
I got really bossy with her today about her diet, but it's just because I care.
No, it makes me laugh, honestly. I think it's funny.
You laugh in the face of her fury.
Yeah.
Like Californians to a hurricane.
Exactly.
Yes, that's who we are.
Exactly.
What else? I don't know. Guys, we have a new merch page.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun.
Right.
When is that show?
Oh, September 8th.
September 8th.
Oh, the
Friday,
show.
September 8th at 7:30 at Flappers.
Yes.
In Burbank.
Cutting edge comedy. That's us.
That's us, exactly.
We're bringing it to Flappers.
That's right.
I don't know what else to say. Until next time,
remain calm.